The last 90 days have been the hardest out of my whole calisthenics journey, which I've been doing for 3 years now. The reason being isn't because I chose a new skill because I currently mastered the one that I'm currently trying to train, but it's how I restructured how I usually train and what I learned along the way that made it the hardest 90 days of any skill training I've ever done. But at the end of it, I've learned a really cool skill, and I also now know the most effective way to train for a calisthenics skill. Before I go into any of this, I need to take you to the start. When I first began training this skill, I couldn't even hold a 90-degree hold. Zero strength in the desired skill I was trying to train. At first, I just approached this skill like I approach any other skill that I've trained, like the handstand push-up, front lever, and one-arm pull-up. Try and try again, and then do progressions. There was a key part that I was missing out that makes it the most effective way to train calisthenics, which I wasn't doing. So don't get me wrong, I was seeing progress, but not as fast as I wanted. I wanted this skill to be the fastest I've learned out of all the skills I have currently. Typically, it takes me a couple months to learn a skill. When I say a couple months, I mean like 6-8 months to learn a skill. And just to put it into perspective, I learned this 90-degree handstand push-up in 2 months. Over a couple weeks, I saw my 90-degree strength improving and I could eventually hold the 90-degree hold. The mindset of continuously failing was still there from all my other skills, and that alone allowed me to get some progress towards this skill. And let me tell you a little bit of story. One day I woke up and I was thinking how I should make this the fastest skill I've learnt. And I began to do a little bit of research and I started asking my coach what I should be doing to get this skill as quick as possible. Now, there are a few key aspects. One, I wasn't training 6 times a week, so the volume wasn't there. I did train 6 times a week, but 4 of those were calisthenics, 2 of those were boxing. So something needed to change there for me to actually get more volume in to improve my strength quicker than ever. And 2, was I was missing a vital part of my training, and that was negatives. And with this research done, I started to apply this to my schedule. So on the days I did boxing, I noticed I could fit in a 30 to 40 minute session. So a light session focusing on just the major parts. The major parts were attempts, work on negatives, then do 2 progressions. And that was my 30-40 minute session done for those days. So with this, I could train 6 times a week for calisthenics, while also keeping boxing up, and then also having the long 2-hour sessions that I have on the usual 4 days I train calisthenics. Then I began to implement negatives as well into all the days I train. Now, the secret to negatives isn't just doing the negatives, but it's going to functional failure, where you cannot possibly do another rep. You do this in weightlifting to build as much muscle as possible. You go till failure. You train till failure. Same thing with calisthenics. You want to build that strength fast, train till functional failure. And the functional failure for me was doing deep handstand push-up negatives, so just going all the way down. No, don't even try attempt to go back up and just bail. Do that as many times as you physically can until your shoulders can't bear your weight on a normal handstand. That is functional failure for the 90-degree handstand push-up. So with this, I started to do attempts, negatives, and I started training progressions, which for me was the elevated pike push-up at a tempo rate. 2 seconds down, 1 second hold at the bottom, back up. That is 1 rep. And then pseudo push-ups as well. With this, I started to see progress fast. Fastest I've ever seen. And this was noticeable. Every 2 weeks, even every week, I'd notice a change in my strength. I'd notice something that I struggled with previously worked a lot better than it was last week. This was a mindset shift I needed. I needed to understand volume equals progression. The more volume you input, the more progress you're going to see. If you train 2 times a week, yes, you will see progress. But yes, it will take longer for you to get to the actual skill. With this training and about 6 weeks in, I can now fully go down and begin to progress back up. But there was a vital part that I still didn't have enough strength for, and it was getting past that 90-degree bit on the back up. Now, my coach reassured me, saying that this is perfectly fine, just keep doing what you're doing. You're just missing that little bit of strength. So I kept doing what I was doing, kept everything up, and within about a week and a half, I got my first rep, and this feeling felt amazing. From starting to do this new formula that I've never tried before, being uncertain if it even works, to seeing progress in the fastest time I've ever learned something, it felt amazing. You can see my excitement in the video. Now, whether you're starting off calisthenics and you're learning a simple skill like the handstand or maybe the muscle up, this still applies to you. The more you train calisthenics 6 times a week, the more you'll see progress, as long as you're doing the right things in the workouts. You can train effectively. This new path of extreme pain, because this is the most pain I've experienced throughout my whole calisthenics journey, and it's because of the increased volume and the effective training is perfect for getting you to where you want to be as quick as possible. And to be honest, throughout my 3 years of training calisthenics, I wasn't really ever in much pain or sweating. And that just shows that maybe I wasn't pushing myself 100%. And this is what this new path that I'm definitely going to apply to every new skill that I learn from now on has taught me. Maybe I haven't been pushing myself as hard as I should have been. If you're training calisthenics and it's not as hard as you think it could be, perhaps you're not training as hard as you should be. Calisthenics is something I live, and I love the fact that almost every skill I learn something new about myself, and it changes me to be a better person. Currently, I believe I'm like 6 days from my first ever rep, and 2 days ago I hit another rep. So we're getting the strength in. It just wasn't a fluke. So I have the strength for it now. I'm going to continue trying to rep it out to the point where I can do multiple reps in one go. And the plan after that, I think I'll probably try go for the clapping handstand push-up. And then after that, maybe the one arm handstand. If you'd like to see my journey in all this, subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed the video.